Hi, and welcome back. Netflix has become a go-to for many people looking for their next action TV show. With so many great options, it can be hard to decide what to watch. Here are the top 10 best Netflix action TV shows for 2022. Number 10. Queen of the South. While living in the barrio of Jalisco, Mexico, poor Teresa Mendoza falls in love with a member of a successful drug cartels, hoping the love will help her rise above the hopelessness she feels in her life. When it doesn't happen, she is forced to flee the country after her boyfriend is murdered. Teresa seeks refuge in America, where she collaborates with someone she hasn't met before to take down the leader of the drug ring after she's gotten a hold on it. Teresa subsequently becomes one of the world's richest women. Her accomplishments have proved to be only a temporary solution, and she'll have to do for herself what all others want done for them in the long term. Queen of the South has a 7.9 rating in IMDb and an 88% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
Says that the only way she can escape is by conquering it.
He's ripping you off.
If she's wrong, I demand reparations.
Number 9. Lost in Space. Set 30 years in the future, colonization in space has become a reality, and the Robinson family is among the few chosen to colonize that new world. The new colonists may find themselves marginalized and forced to band together to work toward a common goal midway through their journey, since they are now thousands of miles away from their intended destination. Stranded together with the Robinsons are two outsiders who find themselves thrown together by circumstance and a mutual knack for deception. The charismatic Dr. Smith is an expert manipulator with a complicated scheme. However, Don West, a skilled tradesman, had no interest in joining the colony, let alone landing on a desolate alien planet. Lost in Space has a 7.3 rating in IMDb and a 78% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes. Number 8. Vikings. Young Viking Ragnar Lothbrok is disgusted by the local chieftain Earl Haraldson because he has sent his Viking raiders to the east towards the Baltic states and Russia, which are poverty-stricken, like the inhabitants of Scandinavia. Ragnar wants to set sail to the west, over the ocean, to find a new civilization. Floki's assistance helps Ragnar build a faster and sleeker fleet of ships so he can make it to the new world. Ragnar, who claims to have descended from Odin, continues to struggle with Earl for decades, until he and Earl finally face each other in a fight to the finish for control of the land. Afterward, Ragnar embarks on a journey for new lands to conquer. Vikings has a 8.5 rating in IMDb and 88% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
Who are they? We captured 2 of them who were guarding their boat. We couldn't understand anything they said at all, except one word. Ragnar.
Number 7. Snowpiercer. A failed attempt to solve global warming killed most life on the planet. The last train, called Snowpiercer, moves in circles around the world, with an engine in perpetual motion through a desert of snow and ice. The last survivors of Earth cluster their cars in the last few vehicles near the side of the pile, where they're cold and hungry, and the powerful class cluster in advanced vehicles full of luxury. The train's life is a vicious circle until one young man named Curtis, who commands the rear section, finally decides to change the situation. Simultaneously, Curtis discovers all of the secrets of the train and the facts of human conduct. Snowpiercer has a 6.9 rating in IMDb and a 69% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
All passengers. Wilford Industries wishes you good morning. Mr. Wilford would like to address...
Number 6. Narcos. Cocaine trafficking in Colombia and the thrilling stories about mafia leaders in the late 80s are detailed in a raw, gritty series presented in the author's unique way. Also showcased are the anti-drug policies carried out by law enforcement as they interact in the war on drugs, going after infamous and powerful characters like drug lord Pablo Escobar. As efforts are made for control over cocaine, one of the world's most valuable commodities. The many entities involved, legal, political, police, military, and civilian, find themselves in the middle of conflict. Narcos has a 8.8 rating in IMDb and a 95% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
Imagine you were born in a poor family, in a poor country, and by the time you were 28 years old, you have so much money.
Number 5. Resurrection, or Tugrul. This TV series is the story of Henry de Grailly, a Turkish warrior from the 13th century, famous for being one of the greatest figures of his time and also the father of Osman. He is an ambitious man who wants to resolve the feud conflicts in his land. He is in an ongoing ideological struggle with the Crusaders on one side, the Byzantines on another side, and the brutally, rapidly expanding Mongols who killed lots of Turks on another side. In between this, he is also in a psychological conflict between his affection and his destiny. Resurrection. Ertugrul has a 7.9 rating in IMDb and a 93% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
Bu yalan dünyada niye yaşamalı insan? Niye
Number 4. Teen Wolf. Styles was just another kid in middle school who transferred Scott to the forest to search for a dead body one night. Scott ended up being bitten by a werewolf. By becoming a werewolf, Scott experienced several benefits. Much quicker, stronger, more noticeable on the lacrosse team, and more popularity, but also became a victim of frequent outbursts. Scott has also fallen for the new girl in town, Allison, whose dad is having trouble trying to locate and kill Scott. Scott now must learn how to live a balanced life, figure out how to control his new powers, not subdue the alpha that bit him, and keep Allison from discovering his large secret. Teen Wolf has a 7.7 rating in IMDb and an 84% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
Indeed was a body found in the woods last night.
If they found the body, then what are they looking for? They only found half. We're going.
Number 3. Cobra Kai. 30 years after their final match at the 1984 All Valley Karate Tournament, Johnny Lawrence is at rock bottom as an unemployed handyman, haunted by his wasted life. Nonetheless, when Johnny rescues bullied boy Miguel from tormentors, he is inspired to restart the infamous Cobra Kai dojo. However, this rebirth of his life and his misunderstandings inspire Johnny to rekindle his fight with Daniel LaRusso, a businessman who may already be happily married, but is missing the right equilibrium in life after the death of his mentor, Mr. Miyagi. Even as this antipathy grows, it grows to be reflected in their protégés as Miguel and his companions are gradually poisoned by Cobra Kai's thuggish approach. Cobra Kai has an 8.5 rating in IMDb and a 93% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
This is what we're up against. This is how everyone sees him, as some kind of philanthropist out to save the kids of the valley. Terry Silver.
Number 2. Lupin. Isolde Diop, an individual who is used to the stories of this famous literary serial killer growing up. When he discovers his father's death goes beyond what his expectations, he becomes involved in a network of criminals that will propel him to his tremendous obsession theft. Assane Diop's father was born in a palatial home where he held a number of chauffeuring positions. However, when his father was arrested a few years after that incident, his fortune took a serious dip. Years later, as Assane Diop was already an adult, he attempted the theft of one of the valuable jewelries that his late father was accused of robbing. Lupin has a 7.5 rating in IMDb and a 78% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
Any questions?
While we're risking our asses, what are you doing?
Who, me? I'm buying the necklace.
Number 1. The Last Kingdom. During that time, many of the kingdoms that would become England fell victim to the invading Danes. The great kingdom of Wessex stood alone under the control of King Alfred, who led the war against the Danish invaders. Born to a Saxon noble in 872, Uhtred was captured and raised by Danes as a citizen. Forced to choose between his homeland and the people who raised him, Uhtred's loyalties are constantly confronted with conflict. In other words, who does he come from? Is he a Saxon or a Dane? Uhtred's job necessitates him to walk an unsettled path between both sides as he carries out his role in the birth of a new nation and ultimately regains ancestral lands. The Last Kingdom has a 8.5 rating in IMDb and a 95% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
We were kings here once, boy. Our ancestors took this land, and it has been strengthened with our blood and bone. Now you are the...
And that's all for today. Give me a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. See you next time. Goodbye.